Hello students, our next topic is on spore formation, and the spore formation is also another mode of asexual reproduction performed by single parent organism. So till now we have discussed about some of the asexual mode of reproductions like fission, budding, fragmentation, even regeneration. So coming to spore formation, it is having one uniqueness. What is that? There are some specialized reproductive organs are present in this spore formation. So in the case of fission, fragmentation, or else in the budding, we didn't see any specialized reproductive parts of the parent organism which are responsible for reproducing. But even spore formation comes under asexual mode of reproduction, that too single pair of the specialized or specific reproductive parts in this spore formation. Okay, and remember, this is in multicellular fungal variety organisms. So most of the fungus can reproduce through spore formation, and those are multicellular in nature. Okay, so what is the best example to observe this spore formation is nothing but bread mold. So scientific name of bread mold is Rhizopus. Remember that scientific name of bread mold is Rhizopus. Okay, and at home also generally with naked eye also we can observe, not the clear picture, but we can observe that like white color patches or green color patches, sometimes in the black color patches on the rotten food items. So that is nothing but this bread mold is known as Rhizopus. Mostly on the spoiling bread we observe these patches, right? So how do they grow? They grow with the help of non-reproductive part that is known as hyphae structures. If you see, this is erect hypha and this is horizontal hypha, means, or else we call this area as the vertical hypha. This thread like structures or the stem like structures are there, right? That is known as erect hypha or vertical hypha, and these structures are known as horizontal hypha. Through these structures actually they can spread on the bread or any rotten food items. Okay, so and these are actually, this hypha is responsible and helpful to the Rhizopus for propagation purpose, for spreading the purpose. But to develop as a new Rhizopus, there are some reproductive parts or the reproductive organs located in the Rhizopus. Those are known as sporangium, which consists of spores. This is the sporangium you can see here. And the sporangium, when reaches to the mature state, then from the sporangium these spores can be dispersed, and these spores can reach to the nearby food areas, and on that these spores can germinate into new Rhizopus. So in Rhizopus, what is the reproductive part? Is nothing but sporangium. This is the reproductive part, and non-reproductive parts are this erect hypha and this horizontal hypha structures. Even rhizoids, root-like structures are also present in the Rhizopus, which are helpful for absorption of the digestive juices. Because remember this one, Rhizopus performs external digestion. Once the food items are digested outside its body, the digested juices can be absorbed through this rhizoids. They are the root-like structures. So both of them, hypha and rhizoids, both of them are non-reproductive organs, and reproductive part is nothing but the sporangium, which consists of spores, and spores are responsible for germination of the new Rhizopus. You can compare them as a seeds. How seed is responsible for germination of the new plant. Here the spores are responsible for germination of the new rhizopus. Okay, so here you get out why these bread molds sometimes appear in white color, sometimes it is in green color, sometimes black in color. That depend on the maturity of this sporangium. Means the spores, when they reach to the matured state, when they are earlier in the stage, unmatured in the state, they will be in white color. After that they slightly they appears in green color when they are about to reach to mature state. When they completely reach to mature state, the color changes to black color. Then the sporangium can burst, and from the sporangium all these spores can be released out. Okay, and structure of the spores you can see here how it will be. Clearly it can be seen. This is the microscopic view. This part, if you see, this particular part is the sporangium, which consists of this dot like structures are nothing but the spores. Okay, dot like structures nothing but the spores. And this is the top view of the sporangium. You can check here, top view of the sporangium, which is having tiny ball like structures are present, like, right, coated with the tiny dot like structures. These are nothing but the spores. So sporangium with the spores, sporangium with the spores there, that is. Okay, so like that the rhizopus can be arranged. So here if you see, generally bread are the hyphae of the bread mold. They are not reproductive parts. So these hyphae are not the reproductive parts. On the other hand, they have tiny blob on a stick structure are involved in reproduction. So what is the tiny blob on a stick like structure? This is the tiny blob which is on a stick like structure. Okay, so that is the sporangium, is the reproductive part present in the rhizopus. Okay, and the blob are sporangia, which contains tiny cells or the spores that can eventually develop into new rhizopus individuals. Okay, and these spores are covered by thick walls that protect them until they come in contact with another moist surface and can begin to grow. So the spore formation is having its own advantage. So what is that? You can check here. Spore structure, I hope you understood, right, how the spores are present on the sporangium. Whenever the sporangium or the spores reach to the mature state, the sporangium can burst, it can break, and from this sporangium the spores can be released out. So do you agree that immediately when the spores are released out, they start germinating? No. Spores, being a spore, they are advantageous. They have some advantages. So what is the advantage of being spores or spore formation advantages? Spore formation advantage. What is the advantage of spore formation? If you see, definitely they have some advantages, because the spores are very tiny, microscopic in nature, and these spores are covered with outer coat like structure that is known as cyst. Actually they are covered with the cyst like structure. Suppose you see here, there will be outer coat like structure. I indicated that with red color, you can check that. This is known as cyst. Okay, the cyst doesn't allow the spore to germinate in unfavorable conditions. So cyst helps the spore not to germinate in unfavorable conditions. Okay, not to germinate in unfavorable conditions. Okay, so what is the importance of it? Why in unfavorable conditions spores should not germinate? Because the conditions which are required for germination are nothing but damp, moist and dark places are required for germination of these spores. fungal germination, which type of conditions are required? Damp, dark, even moist surfaces. Okay, moist surfaces, that too that should be biodegradable in nature, because fungus can grow on the biodegradable substances only, and that should nourish this fungal growth. Suppose this type of conditions are not there, during the time the spore should not germinate. If it germinates, as there is no nutrients, there is no nutrition, it cannot grow. Rhizopus, the entire rhizopus cannot develop. That should not be done, so that the cyst stop the germination process during unfavorable conditions. Whenever these conditions are not there, during the time spores doesn't germinate. That's why, suppose you want to prevent any fungal infections on our body also. Suppose we see dandruff is a type of fungal infection, and ringworm is a type of fungal infection. So we should avoid this type of conditions, this type of situations on the body. Then definitely we can avoid fungal infections. Means what? We should maintain our hygiene properly. We should wipe our sweat, or as well as after bath also, the entire body should be wiped thoroughly. Okay, and should keep the body sufficiently moisture, not too much. Okay, completely with the sweat we should not be there. Sufficient moisturization only we should have allow to our body or to the skin. And when we maintain all the hygienic conditions, then we can avoid all these fungal infections, because fungus cannot grow in such hygiene and dry areas. But if the area is damp, dark and moist in nature, there is a chance of developing of this fungus. So that spore can germinate only in this type of environmental conditions. Till it gets this environmental conditions, cyst doesn't allow this spore to germinate. So that is one of the advantage as being a spore. Other one, the spores are very light in weight. What is the other advantage? As spores are very light in weight. Okay, as they are very light in weight, it's very easy to them to disperse. So how it is advantageous being light in weight? It's easy to them to disperse. Okay, like seed or the spore dispersion will be easy to them. Okay, so these are the advantages of being a spore. Understood? As a spore formation advantages, sometimes in exam they ask you, then you can write as spores are having the cyst-like structures. The cyst doesn't allow the spore to germinate during unfavorable conditions, and the spores, as they are very light in weight, easy dispersion can be possible. Even spread also wide in the range. So it occupies, it can propagate longer distances. Okay, so that is about spore formation. What we have discussed in the spore formation can be seen in some of the fungal varieties like Rhizopus, as well as Agaricus and Aspergillus also. What are the other two examples you can see here? Agaricus, even Aspergillus. These two also comes under spore formation only. Okay, and this spore formation can be seen frequently in the variety like bread mold, that is known as Rhizopus. And structure of the Rhizopus, if you see, this is the structure of the Rhizopus, which is having stalk like structure is known as hypha. Okay, one is the vertical hypha, other one is the horizontal hypha. Okay, and it is also having one reproductive organ, that is blob like structure, which is located on the hypha, is known as sporangium. And sporangium consists of spores. Spores are responsible for germination of new Rhizopus. Okay, And the spore structure you can check here. Spore structure. So as it is the sporangium structure, okay, this is the sporangium structure. On that dot like structures you can see here, these are nothing but the spores. When the sporangium or the spores reach to the mature state, sporangium can burst and spores can disperse to the nearby areas. The spores can disperse to the nearby areas, and during favorable conditions only they can germinate into the new rhizopus. So that is about